Old mother to marry? Very simple question. Would you want your widowed mother to remarry? That's what we're talking about today. Remarriage for widows and widowers. It's still a very controversial topic for a lot of people. But when you remember that most marriages end with one spouse dying, it means a high number of people end up widowed. And lots of them may be thinking about remarrying. And that brings me to our big hard fact today. According to the 2006 Census, 1% of men and 4% of women have been widowed, while a 2018 World Bank report puts the numbers at 1% and 9% respectively. So somewhere between 1 in 25 and 1 in 10 women in Nigeria have been widowed. And of course, these are women of all ages. Most of them are very old, but a lot of them are in their middle ages. And some of them are actually quite young. Now, you're wondering why we're having this conversation on hard facts. Well, 2 weeks ago, I was watching a movie, and it got me thinking about widows and widowers remarrying. The movie is called Elevator Baby. It's a Nigerian film, and it's pretty good. You should watch it. I recommend it. It's about a young man trying to figure out his life, right? Timini Ebuson plays the role of that young man. His father is dead. His mother, played by Shafi Bello, has remarried. And this young man is viciously opposed to that remarriage. He hates the mother's new husband. He believes the mother has betrayed her dead husband, his dead father, by marrying a new husband. It was made worse by the fact that his mother was living with her new husband in the same house where she lived with her late husband, his father. He did not like that at all. And so it got me thinking, because no be just film. This is a real life situation for a lot of people, or at least it will be a real life situation for a lot of people. Almost every married woman will become a widow at some point, some earlier than others. 9% are widowed at any particular time. So this is something that most of us will have to face. Our mothers will be widowed. Mine already is a widow. So my question to you is, if your mother were a widow and decided to remarry, would you support or oppose it? Why or why not? Simple question. I just want to hear your mind. Because when I started this conversation on Twitter, it went all kinds of places. Different kinds of people had different kinds of answers. And I wondered if Lagos will have different answers from what people were saying online. Or perhaps you're already there, Seth. Perhaps you've already been there. Perhaps your mother, like mine, is already a widow. Perhaps, she has thought about remarrying or even started taking steps. And when she did, I want to know what your reaction was. What was your reaction when she wanted to remarry? Were you okay with it? Did you encourage it? Were you uncomfortable with it? Did you actively oppose it? What were your reasons for opposing it? What was the outcome of your opposition? Perhaps you've been widowed. If you're listening to the show and you yourself are the widow, do you have adult children? What was their reaction when you considered remarrying? Or has it never come up for you? Have you never thought about remarrying? Is that something that's never crossed your mind? Do you feel like there is an expectation on you that you should not remarry? Let's talk Lagos. So different categories of people. For people who, both parents are still alive, but it could happen. So think about it. If it happens, would you object to your mom remarrying? For people who already have mothers who are already widows, has it come up? If it does come up, will you object to it? Will you support it? And for you yourself, who is already a widow, do you have adult children? Has the conversation about remarrying come up? Do you feel like there is an expectation on you to not even have that conversation, to not even remarry? 0700-993-993-993. We've got Sunday on the line. Hello, Sunday. Sunday's not there anymore. Hello.
Hello, Joyce.
Sandra, how are you?
Sandra, yeah, I'm sorry.
What's your name? Good evening.
My name is Charlie.
Charlie? All right, Charlie. Would you want your widowed mother to remarry?
I want her to be happy.
You want her to be happy.
Yes,
Okay.
anything she wish for herself that will make her happy.
Okay.
Yes, because she's my mom.
Oh, that is sweet.
Hello?
Okay, I can hear you. Go ahead.
A certain point in life, everybody needs other people to be close to them. Even while you are not yet married, you need friends. You understand?
Hmm.
So, as a living being, you need a partner.
Hmm.
You understand?
Okay.
So, if she have interest in remarrying, I will support her. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Get my point?
All right, Charles. Thank you for calling and sharing that with me. We've got Nkenna on the phone. Hello, Nkenna.
Yes. Hello.
Is-
Hello, Sandra.
Is that
Good evening.
Nkenna or Ikenna?
It's Ikenna
Okay.
speaking.
All right, Ikenna. Good to have you on the show. Would you support your widowed mother remarrying?
Well, in fact, my mom is late.
Okay.
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 Yeah, my dad is a widower.
Okay. Did he remarry?
And upon my mom's demise, my dad wanted attention from us, from the children. Okay, he wanted us to be with him, to always be there for him, both physically and emotionally. And that we couldn't offer 100%.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was our decision that he should remarry,
Okay.
and of course he did.
Okay.
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 So if the tables were to switch, if the tables were to turn, and it happens that my
Your mom was
dad
alive.
is one that passed on, and my mom was left, and in all sincerity, she wants to remarry. I wouldn't have any objection to that.
Okay.
For me, I'm of the view that whatever that makes everybody happy, okay? Insofar as that person's happiness does not infringe on my own happiness, then it's okay by me. We have to just keep an open mind and not be. Sometimes people are very emotional about some of these things, and as a result of that, even good reasoning,
He's thrown
good
out the
reasoning
window.
is thrown to the back. Is thrown to the back seat. But for whatever it is, the question should always be, what would I do if I were to be the one in this situation? If I were to be a woman and I lose my husband, desiring a life partner, desiring someone else, would it be a bad idea? Insofar as the man would accept my children, if I have kids, the man would accept my children and love my children just like I would love them, just like their late father would love them. And there's no problem with it. We just have to be open-minded, and this will make our society really better.
All right, Ikenna. Thank you so much for calling me. Ezine is in Ogun State. Hello, Ezine.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My own contribution, actually, my dad is deceased.
Okay.
My mom is a widow.
Okay.
And I died when I was 6,
Oh.
very young. So, but my mom decided not to get married. She didn't want to get married. She wanted to the responsibility of the children, just to family actually.
Okay.
So she didn't want to get married, which me, I was not really in that. I was not really supportive of that. But what would I do now? That was her decision. So there was nothing I could do about that.
So you wanted her to remarry?
Yes, we actually missed a father figure now. We really needed it because we were still young then.
Yeah. But she was like, no
but-
want.
Yes, she said it was her decision, so we had no choice. We had to.
Approve of it. You had to just support her. Interesting.
Yes.
Esine, thank you for calling me. Before I brought this subject to the radio air, I went on Twitter with it too. I was really interested in what Nigerians had to say. Because as I was watching that movie, I realized that I've heard a lot of people express that feeling before. I know a lot of people who don't want their widowed mothers to remarry. But what I did not know was the exact reason why. So I went on Twitter to ask the question. I asked, why are boys or men more likely to be hostile to the idea of their mothers dating, remarrying after their fathers die? And I got some very eye-opening replies, very different from what I've heard on the air so far. I'm going to share some of them with you eventually. But I want to take a couple more calls because so far the calls I've gotten have been very, very interesting. The number to call is 0700-993-993-993. You can send us a WhatsApp message as well. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Tweet at us at Nigeria Info FM. Share your thoughts on Facebook where we're streaming live. Nigeria Info 99.3. That's for Facebook. Would you want your widowed mother to remarry? If she decided to remarry, would you support her? Have you already been in that situation? Has your widowed mother told you about wanting to remarry? Are you the widow yourself? Tell us your own experience. We've got Gabriel in Ikoyi on the line. Gabriel, hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
To my own side, I will never have that experience. Most of our family, they live together and die very, very old age.
Okay.
Like my father is 80, my mother is 72.
Mm-hmm.
If any of them go on time, I don't think my father or my mother can be remarried anymore.
Okay. Because she's too
it's
old,
already late. It's already late. We should look at that age. Most of them who try this, most of them, they are not really happy. The new home they went to.
Okay.
A lot of them, when I know, they are not really happy. It causes additional problem.
Okay.
If you are up to 60 years, if you are a woman, to me, I would say you should remain in your husband's house. If the family have house, you should live in remaining life like that. If you are a man, mostly our family will not always do so. The little one who will not always do so. We live like that. The children, we need to take care of our father or our mother. We not have that spirit or go and remarry, although we know we love people at the younger age.
Okay, but again, if they don't remarry, what about dating? Can they have like a man friend or a woman friend that keeps them company? Can they do that?
If you are old, now what are you doing with that anymore? You can just have a woman friend of your age mate.
Gabriel, how old are you?
I'm 50 years.
By the time you get to 70 and, maybe your wife has passed before you, you're telling me you're not going to look for a woman that will keep you company?
No, I don't think so. We have that strong family this thing with that. I don't think so. I'm sorry to say we never married two wives from over 300 years in our
But this one is not two wives now. It's still death do us part.
I'm telling you, we have that family strong belief. We live in a peaceful life in our family. From our generation to generation, it never happened. We are struggling to make sure it not happen in my own generation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for calling and sharing that with me. I liked talking to Gabriel. 99.3.
Yeah, good evening, Sandra.
Good evening. What's your name?
My name is Alex. I'm calling you from Victoria Island.
Alex, would you want your widowed mother to remarry?
What is the man coming to do? If you say till death do us part, if death has done them part, that for example, my father has gone. So what are they going to come together again? So who is coming back to do them on together? What is the man coming to do? My mother should marry me and my other brothers and sisters, brothers.
Okay.
So I don't think if by peradventure in the future I get to that stage,
you don't think she should remarry?
My father passes on. My father is
why?
101 years old now.
Why?
Why? The reason for it? Because as a matured young man too, I don't see essentially what the man is coming to do.
Okay.
If my mother needs any company of anybody, male or female, can do that in the church. What she just needs to exchange life experiences, share experiences, and all that.
She should do it in the church.
She's going to start copulating with my mother at the age of 80 or 85.
Maybe.
So he's coming to do virtually nothing. Coming to feed me or come and take over and lord over the house that he was not part of. Or he's coming to reap from what he didn't sow, either emotionally or financially or economically.
I see.
So he's not coming to do anything. So we don't even have a need for it. My mother, my own kind of mother, is still alive. She doesn't even have friends.
Okay.
She doesn't. Yeah.
All right, Alex. Thanks for calling. We've got Ngozi in Ajawo Estate. Hello, Ngozi.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. I heard about the discussion. It is not proper for a woman that has gotten a children in her first husband's house.
To remarry.
Eventually, the man dies, or it's not proper for the woman to marry because the children is there. How can he take the children to another husband? We need to train them there. In our own place, if immediately a man dies, the woman doesn't remarry again. She will be taking care of the children, stay in her husband's house, train the children, take care of herself. If she has her husband's brothers that are reasonable, they will help her to live fine and train the children.
What if the husband's wife dies? Does he marry another wife?
Of course. He can marry the one that is not giving birth again.
I see.
There are many ladies that are OH. The man can go and marry such people to help him.
So the woman is expected to stay at home and take care of the children, but the man can remarry.
Of course, the men, the type of their genitals, how they are. But the women, they will endure and take care of their children.
Why is it up to women to endure and men to enjoy?
There are many people, there are many men that endure it too. Like one of my uncle, his wife.
No, I don't care about the example of many men enduring. I care about what you said, where you said, no, that men, they can remarry, but women, no, you're expected to endure. So a man that doesn't remarry, that man, we look at him as, oh, he endured. But a woman that remarries, we say, why would she go and remarry? Why?
Yes, of course.
Why?
Because she will not take the children to the new husband's place.
Why?
Now.
Why?
Or neither will he leave the children that he already gotten for her first husband.
Why not?
It is not easy. It is not easy for her to leave the children.
But I'm also trying to understand something here. When a woman dies and leaves her children behind, right? The husband takes the children, marries a new wife, has more children with this new wife, and it's not a problem. Why?
It is not a problem because if the man eventually went and married a woman that is not married, that is unaged, the woman can be able to take the children of the man, to train the children of the man.
And the man that the woman marries cannot take care of the children of the woman?
Of course, it is not possible.
It's not possible?
Yes.
Okay. Ngozi, thank you for calling me. Let me talk to Kende. Hopefully Kende is still on the line. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Kende. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. Concerning what you've spoken about today. Okay. So I had this friend of mine whose mother passed away when I was about, I think, 7 or 8.
Okay.
And up till the man died maybe 2 years ago. He didn't remarry, and by himself he raised two young boys by himself. So I personally believe that people should remarry. I personally believe it, no matter the age. I mean, are you going to marry your mom or your dad by yourself? I mean, they need companionship. They need all of those kind of things.
But you heard Gabriel. Gabriel said, all the companionship you need, I can give it to you. Alex said, if you need companionship, go to church. Get it from your church people.
Complete nonsense. You need someone to hang out with at night, someone to go out with, someone to speak with, someone to, take a walk with, someone that you can really share your feelings with. Are you going to share your feelings with church? Come on now. I fully believe my parents are still alive, but if one of them were to die today and they wanted to remarry, of course, I will give my blessings. Me, myself, if I find myself in such a situation, well, I don't know for now, but if any of my parents were to die today, I will gladly give my blessings. I mean, I cannot make up for companionship of a partner. It's not possible. A son or a daughter, I cannot make up for companionship of a partner. Like, that's way, 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 way very important. So I fully believe that those kind of relationships people should not shame or ask women, especially women, not to get married because their husband died. I mean, come on, if someone is in her late 30s, are you going to tell her not to marry? She'll be like that if she dies at 90 or something, alone for 50 years. Wow. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you for calling me, Kendi. We've got Victoria on the line. Victoria, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for calling.
How are you?
Very well.
Yes, this is Grandma Victoria.
Yes, welcome.
Yes, I'm listening to your program. It's an interested program. We are talking of
remarrying.
Widows
remarrying.
Widows. Yes. I had somebody saying in their family it does not happen. What about if he married and the woman just got just one baby, then she passed on, then he will remain like that for life? That is one question.
Okay.
Now, the second one, if a human being, we need somebody to talk to. It's not everything you will relate to your children. It's not everything you tell your children. You need somebody. Even children of these days, they don't even have your time. They don't have your time. They go around doing their business.
Exactly.
They want to work. They want to make their money. They don't have your time.
Exactly.
So what you do, if there is a responsible family, let them get somebody to accompany that woman or that man so that he will not die young. Because if you don't have anybody to talk to, at times they are indoors, it's a problem. You start thinking, you carry radio, you aim television, you have a problem you want to discuss. It's not all that is love making. The important thing.
Even about your children, sometimes you even want to talk about your children. And you want to talk about your children with somebody who can understand it.
Yeah. Do you talk to somebody that you just meet that person in the church? You now start to come, I want to discuss with you. No, the problem, the reality of it is this. We look at it this way. We pray over it. If even though you want to remarry, you should not remarry a wrong person.
Of course.
He should remarry her friend or his friend. Because this thing is about friendship.
That's right.
If even though you are married and you are not friends, the marriage will not go well. You see yourself as friends. You see yourself as husband and wife. You see yourself very close relationship. The relationship is so deep and close, and it will stand. So somebody will die very young. Then she will remain, maybe at the age of 35 or 30, she just had one baby. She will remain like that for life. Is it easy? Let the other people, I'm asking other people, let them talk, let them contribute to this question. It's not easy for one to just remain like that for life. He has gone, even that person will not live long again. Is that person Eleha? That will just stay in the house, stay and lock her up with thinking and she will die or he will die. We have so many widowers these days. They are, in fact, some people are not even widowers. What they do, they are not widowers. Their wife will leave them and go and take care of babies in abroad. Then you will see an old man, almost 80, going to market. In the Bible, it does not happen like that. I'm a woman. In the Bible, when Abraham married Sarah, at a point, even Sarah died, he still pick another woman. So that to help him in the house, to even give him joy. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you for calling me, Victoria. We've got Victor on the line. Hello, Victor.
Hello, good evening, Sandra.
Good evening. Would you support your mother remarrying?
No.
Tell me why.
Already, my mom is a widow.
Okay.
And then back then, after my father died and he was buried, after like 2 years, she stayed for 2 years. She gave a try. It didn't turn out good. It wasn't married, it was just friend dating. Turned out very violent. Turned out very plenty of problems. And then, then we were still young, small. We could not retaliate.
Okay.
What the man normally did to her. And then after another 2 years and a half, she gave another try. at this point, I was already strong enough. I was supporting her, doing labor work to, keep my mother going. And then this man, I was actually somewhere in Calabar. And then returning home, I saw that, there is a man. And then, that is my mother's decision. And I have a discussion with her. He said he's a good man. He's very supportive. So along the line, the same thing that happened to the first one started. Violent fight trouble. So at this point, I was strong enough to handle the man. So whenever I'm around, it would not start. But when I'm not around, it will start. So in fact, the relationship actually ended with me because I was the one day that this man displayed this thing. It was an open fight, and I dealt with him. That was the end of the relationship. So, and since then, my mother decided not to. And I can tell you for over 16 years now, she's married to Jesus. I'm telling you, when I heard other women saying you cannot say, and she's just 63. She's married. She go to our church. She go to evangelism. She read our Bible. She's excited. Whenever me and my brother travel home, she will hug us. She will take us like a husband, and that is how it should be.
But you're not
because
her
if
husband.
Another man,
but you're not her husband. She has certain needs that you cannot
If another man comes in, he will give up. This is the life experience I'm telling you.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, right? And I understand that she's been unfortunate in finding the right companion. She's been unfortunate enough to find people who continue to beat her.
There is no fortunate when it comes to that. Any man that will come to a woman that has already married and the husband died, that man is no. In fact, there is no fortunate. There's no fortunate. And the other guy was saying, when the other man was saying the mother get to church and he was saying nonsense. What? You see, it is easy for when a woman died, man can easily get married, even to a young lady and bring her to his home, which he knows that this young lady will take care of her children. But it is almost, in fact, very unacceptable for a man to come and marry a woman a widow woman who has children. Is it like this man doesn't see other women outside?
Victor, there are some second marriages where the husbands are good to their wives, where the husbands take care of the children. The same way a new wife.
Children. I'm telling you out of experience, even without my own experience.
The same way you also have women who discriminate against the children of their husband who has been married before. So that thing is down to the individual. It's down to human character. It's not about, something is wrong with a man for wanting to marry a woman who has been married before and had children.
Other guy said, Sandra, the other guy said, what is the man coming to do? I was laughing. That is the question you should be asking. What is the man coming to do?
Why are you discountenancing? What are you discountenancing? Why are you discountenancing your mother's needs, your mother's desires? What if your mother wants the companionship?
And she is very happy.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
I am telling you. In fact, we don't even mention such things because, in fact, this also boils down in kind of person anybody is. She is a total repentant woman. After that incident, she accepted her call and decided to follow God straightly.
All right, Victor. Unfortunately, I have to take other calls. But thank you so much for calling me. Wale, are you still there? Wale? Oh, no, Wally's not there anymore. All right, don't pick any more calls, Nata. Thank you. Because we need to take a quick break and continue this conversation. If you just joined the show, we're asking a very simple question. Would you want your widowed mother to remarry? Now, if you cannot call into the show today, don't worry. Wednesday, we'll have this conversation on the glass ceiling yet again. Would you want your widowed mother to remarry? If she decided to remarry, would you support her? Have you already been in that situation? Has your widowed mother told you, I want to remarry? Are you a widow yourself? What has your own experience been? I am Sandra Ezekwesili. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info. You're listening to Hard Facts. We're streaming on Facebook, 99.3 Nigeria Info as well. We're also streaming on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM.
Hard Facts. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hard Facts.
Lagos, I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. It's 24 minutes to 6, and we're having conversations today about our widowed mothers remarrying. Now, like I said, before I brought this conversation on air, I had it on Twitter. We had this conversation for 2 days on Nigerian Twitter, and a lot of people had different things to say. I got some very eye-opening replies. I had a lot of messages opposing it on the grounds that it is wrong for another man to live in what they call their father's house. One message said, quote, "The truth is that I won't allow that to happen. Having a man who parades himself as a stepfather to me and my siblings is an insult to my father's name. If she wants to marry or date someone, she can do that in her father's house and not in my own father's house." End quote. Someone said that about, this his mother remarrying. And by the way, I'm wondering whether if his father were to remarry, having a woman parade herself as a stepmother would be an insult to his mother's name. Because there seems to be an imbalance here. You've had several callers, call and say the same thing, right? When men get widowed, a lot of the time, people are even pushing them to remarry. In fact, even on the funeral day of the wife, people are pushing them to remarry. Oh, who will take care of you now? Oh, who will take care of the children now? But we're going to get to that, right? I want to read you more messages about this my father's house matter. Quote, I don't think this is a problem, but bringing the man into the same house that her late husband built and slept in, I think is wrong, end quote. And I want to know what you think about that idea. The idea that the widow is living in her late husband's house and therefore bringing a new husband there is disrespectful to him. Because let's remember, a lot of the time, the dead husband did not build or buy that house on his own. His wife, the widow, also brought her own money into the deal. I've seen married couples contribute money to get everything they owned. I've seen married couples sweat together for years to have their own home. My parents, my mom and my dad, they both worked. They both contributed money to get everything we own. So imagine a situation with a couple like that, building together, and then after the man dies, his sons tell their mother, this is our father's house. You can't bring any man here. Hell, not be her house too, as much as it was also their papa house too. And secondly, do the dead own property? Because let's say the man brought all the money, right, to build the house or buy the house, 100%. The wife did not bring any money at all. According to Nigerian law, unless he has a will that says otherwise, his wife inherits the house from him. And the way the inheritance works, the heir is now the full owner. The dead person, the benefactor, doesn't own the property from the grave. So it isn't my father's house anymore. It's now my mother's house. And if it's her house, shouldn't she have a right to live there with anyone she chooses to marry? After all, if she had died, her husband inherited her house. Wouldn't he be allowed to live there with his new wife? What do you think about this idea that if a widow remarries, she shouldn't live in the same house that she lived with her first husband? Whose house is it? Is it her house or is it her late husband's? And yes, you can still tell me if you would support your mother remarrying. We've got KG on the line. Hello, KG. KG, hello. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Sandra.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sandra, let's look at this on two different angles.
Okay.
And whichever you look at it, you need to factor the Nigerian way of life, when I'm Nigerian way of life, our culture, and some other things. Now, let me put it this way. Already there's a certain culture and a certain belief in Nigeria that as a man, when you get married to a woman, what comes to the woman's mind first is that you have the right to marry as many wives as possible. Now, such a woman is not allowed to marry another man. But the man is believed to be able to, you can marry as many wives. I've had encounter people like that. I can give you, a specific kind of culture that does that. Now, come to widow setting. Let me give you a practical example. I have my wife's other sister, kind of. The husband died, I think, 15 years ago, yes. Just this year, maybe 15 years ago. And when I was chatting with her, she said, the issue is not for her remarriage. She has 4 kids already. Where will she start from? Ordinarily, she's going to probably get married to someone that has kids already. And whether you like it or not, the man's interest will be forced to his children. Let's call it a spade.
Just like the woman's interest will be her own children first.
Good. Now, on her own side, she's going to a different man's house, bearing that man's under that man's authority. That's coming from our own culture and our own way of life, angle. Now she's getting to that married to that man, bearing the man's name, under the man's control, doing the man's bidding. That means our own kids are second-class citizens in that house. From experience, from a couple of other houses that one has seen, of course, when we were growing up, we saw a lot of things happening. So I think, and she just said to me that, she would rather prefer to stay and take care of her kids. She wouldn't, probably when the kids are grown old or whatever, maybe she might think of remarrying. But her attention is 100% focused on her kids, that she wants to do better with her kids. And she has done it perfectly well. She has a daughter married now. The other one is in the US doing fine. You understand? The restaurant, higher station thereabout.
So what will she do when all her children leave the house? Because what we're saying here is men are likely to mistreat children of the women they marry, yeah?
Yes.
So that's what we're saying, right?
Yes.
Men are likely to mistreat the children of the women they marry. So what does she do when all her children leave the house? She just stays alone?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not like you said. Like you say, it boils down to the individual at the end of the day now. Okay, for this person I'm talking about now, I'm sure in the next 5 years or thereabout, I'm sure she'll be alone. Because already 2 of our kids are there in abroad, 2 are in Nigeria, 1 is in university, the other in secondary school, rounding off. I'm sure in the next 5 years, the last born will be out of school. You understand?
And also
of course,
be out of the house.
Thank you.
What's she going to do?
Is that left for her to say, okay, at this age, do I need to get another man, or do I just, keep moving from one of my daughter to another one, to another one, to another? Because regardless of how we look at it, we need to factor in our culture and our way of life. It's important.
It's actually our culture that I'm factoring in, because when we say culture, we're often talking about the culture that is 60 years old or 70 years old. We're not talking about culture from pre-colonial times. If we're talking about pre-colonial culture, we actually had a lot of women who remarried and a lot of men who remarried, and it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
So which culture do we refer to when we talk about our culture? Which one are we referring to?
Good. Now, if you take a proper statistics, let's say that for the last 10 years or 20 years, you confirm that you find out that you have most like some family will tell you, in our family when like I grew up in Abakaliki, and they'll tell you probably when the man died, of course the wife married someone in that family, which most of you might don't do. They will tell you, they don't want to. They rather remain single like that. Things like that happen. So at the end of the day, you find out that most of these women are being forced to do what they're not supposed to do, based on
including not remarrying when they want to remarry.
You understand? So that's what I'm saying.
That's also part of it. Some women want to, but they are forced to not because
forced to not. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That whichever we look at it, whether this culture is archaic, whether it's good or it's not good, just like a particular set of people today, as soon as you get married to that setting, as a woman, you know that this woman is expected to marry as many wives as possible.
But let me ask you something. You personally, right? If your mom were a widow, would you support her if she says, I want to remarry?
Happiness is all about everything. Life, the other word for life is happiness. As long as you find happiness in it, I'm good to go.
All right, Keji. Thank you for calling me. Do we still have Peter on the line?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Peter. Good to have you on the show.
Yeah. I want to share an experience about what you are
talking about. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
When you came back from the break, you said some things that are really interesting. I'm a practical example of what you are talking about.
Okay.
I lost my mom 2 years ago.
Okay.
And my dad, by the virtue of the father, he is a pastor. So he said he began to receive many approaches from women, But at a point, he decides to go and he wants to get married.
Okay.
We are 3.
Okay.
I'm the firstborn.
Okay.
I have 2 younger ones.
Okay.
So the last one was like, Daddy, how would that be? And I knew I consigned immediately. That was what you first mentioned when you came back from the date, the property. So what my dad did was this. He has somebody who's going out with now. Planning to get married maybe. My mom will be 2 years old at death. I mean, she'll be 2 years she has died in August. So planning to get around October this year. So what he did was to let the lady coming in now to know that this property you are seeing, in where we are living, is for his own children.
Did he write a will?
No, not even writing a will. He's making the lady to understand that he's for his own children, and he is saying he's not. You see, remarrying after the death of one of the couple is not all about love making. It's all about companion. Even though at the point I have to advise my father, Daddy, go and get married, because he's always feeling lonely. is the only one living in a 3-bedroom flat. Walking about, you know what it is.
I know, yes,
lonely
I know.
in a 3-bedroom flat. My sister, it's not easy. So it's not just people are looking at it. The way people are looking at it is different. But people are looking at it I'm looking at it from the aspect of companion. I have seen people that have died because of loneliness. They are husbands and wives. I work in the public sector.
Okay.
And this woman died about a month to her retirement. The woman they are living in the same house, but they are living in different rooms.
Okay.
And the woman died of heart attack. If that woman had had somebody beside her when she was having that attack, he would have survived. But because the husband is living in one room, the wife is living in another room, they are living like bachelors. No, serious. You see, there's something called companion. I believe people that are saying they will not support, they because they are not in the shoes of the man or the woman. There is just talking alone. My sister, talking to somebody alone. There are times you want to talk.
That's right.
You want to tell maybe somebody is very close to you, something very secret. You can't discuss with your children. Okay, I went out when I just came back from office. I saw you discussing. I don't even know if you are listening to that. I've not heard. So these are the kind of children we have today. They don't have your time. So in order for you to have companion, if the man says he wants to get married, fine. If the woman says he wants to get married, leave him. Let him. Happiness is what matters.
All right, Peter, thank you so much for calling me. On Twitter, Ikenna says, I think men's resistance to their mothers remarrying comes down to this: territoriality. We feel uncomfortable, sometimes hostile towards some other man, filling that familial space. The more intimate the space they're coming into, the greater hostility we may express. It's more about the other man than it is about the mother. Societal norms are probably built upon and reinforced by this foundation. But the territoriality lies at the foundations. Territorial behavior is present in biological males of other species too. Dolani Roberts says, when a man loses his partner, he's encouraged to get a wife to help raise the children. When a woman loses her husband, they begin to calculate her strength to be a superwoman by raising the children while frowning on her having a sexual life. Our societal values make it difficult for a widow to remarry. If she does and shows love in her newfound love, she might be tagged husband killer. Also, all women are not wired the same way. Some women cannot cope without a companion, and that's why they remarry early. Vincent Monday O says, hi Sandra, is it not obvious that we are in a man's world? For me, I find these cultures appalling that support a particular gender remarrying and disallowing the other gender. For me, I will support, although it's a very dicey situation. Grace Oladejo says, if the woman is still relatively young, maybe in her 40s or 50s, I'll advise remarriage. But for somebody in her 70s or 80s, no, the kids should keep her company. What if she doesn't have children? What if it's a woman that didn't have children and her husband, was her companion and her husband died? What then? Kenneth Domont says, my mom is a widower. She gave birth to 5 of us before her father died, but seriously, I don't support my mom marrying again. Mr. Liverpool Olanuga says, if she's very young or in their middle age, she should get a responsible man and get the consent of the son. Grace on Twitter also says, yes, please. If that's what she wants, then I will support her to remarry. Okay, let's go to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. We've got about 6 minutes to the end of the show. But don't worry, if you couldn't call in today, we'll have this conversation again on the glass ceiling on Wednesday at 4. And if you missed a huge chunk of the conversation today, listen to our podcast on any of your streaming platforms, Hard Facts with Sandra Ezekwesili. Listen to all the episodes of Hard Facts that you've missed and catch up. On WhatsApp, Sandra, good evening. I am a widow myself in my early 40s. In the part of Igbo land where I come from, your bride price will be returned, and if the kids are still young, your husband's family will take everything from you. In fact, it's not easy at all. Uchenna Okonkwo from Ikoton says, Uchenna, thank you so much for sending your message to me. I appreciate it. This person says, Sandra, it's very selfish and myopic for someone to say it's wrong for widows to remarry, but right for a widower to marry. The annoying part is the saying widows should take Jesus as their husband. Why can't the widower take Mary as their wife? That person did not leave their name, though. Aurora from Ayoba says, my mom is late physically, but if she were a widow, I would support her to remarry because my dad never made her feel loved and she was sad most of the time with him, especially when we, the children, were children. So I would love her to have the taste of a good husband. Aww. You are such a good son. Good evening. It takes a wicked woman to abandon her children for comfort after the death of the husband because it is not legal to move to her new husband's house with another man's children. Onyedikachi, this is the most ignorant thing I've ever read in my life. Which one is it's not legal for her to move? Like, you people have the weirdest takes. Goodness. We've got another message here. One of the bad culture we need to weed out of our system is this type of idea preventing women who lost their husbands from remarrying, including children standing in the way of their mother. This is 2020. We should do better as a family or children of a widow and widower. Children, will you marry your mother and stay with her forever? So we should come out of our shadows. Let women themselves decide if they want to remarry. We should look out for her happiness because if she lives long and she marries another man, staying in her late husband together with a new husband shouldn't be a problem. But I smell something, jealousy. Oh, jealousy on the part of the children? Okay. Olaide Cruz says, I support both to remarry. Once the sexual urge, feelings, and loneliness is there, no matter what age. Paul from Igondo says, all right, Paul, thanks for sending your message in. Good afternoon. I will not allow that. For what? That is betrayal of my father's trust. What is she still looking for at the age of 65 years? She should be married to God. It's only promiscuous women that do such. Hey, my name is Mr. Terry from Ikorodu. In Anokwa, us know only promiscuous women that do such. Ah, Mr. Terry, Mr. Terry. But the men are not promiscuous when they do it. All right. Good day, President Sandra. My mom is a widow already, and when my dad died, I told her not to think of remarrying or dating because we don't want to become slaves in somebody's house, and she keeps to it, and we're happy. Imagine 6 of us in another man's house. It won't be easy now, and he won't treat us as his real children. This country is full of wicked people. Nelson. But Nelson, isn't that down to like a character flaw on the part of these people? Not, a real problem as per your because we're basically telling these women to sacrifice their happiness because of their children, in a way that we're not telling the men to sacrifice their own happiness because of his own children. In fact, there are lots of stories of stepmothers being horrible to their stepchildren, but that hasn't stopped people from telling men to go and marry another woman. Why is it the women that were telling, don't try it? Why? We've got another message here. Yeah, I want her to remarry because she needs somebody to be keeping her company all the time. Though we, her children, are trying all our possible best, it can never be like having a partner with her. She's 50 plus, but I still want her to remarry. Thank you, Ma. Uthman from Ibejuleki says. Uthman, thank you for sending your message in. We've got, hi, Sandra. Okay, Dominic from Ijegun. This is a sensitive but delicate question. To cut the long story short, my dad was a widower and he remarried my mom, but my elder sister doesn't want it simply because he would give birth and the children will be a burden to her in some few years because he'll go to the grave and it will be a situation of her taking care of all of them. My dad died and my mom is now a widow, but if she decides now to get married, I will respect it. Thank you, Sandra, for this topic. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me. I appreciate it. Shola from Yaba says, hey, I think it's not the right of the children to determine if the mother wants to marry. Please forget traditions here. It's better to remarry than sleeping around. Sela. All right, Shola. I don't mind my widowed mother remarrying as long as she will be happy. My dad died very young, about 18 years ago, and since then she's remained unmarried. Sandra, I sent you a DM this morning. Okay, I'm going to look out for it. Thank you, Lekon, for sending your message in. We've got another message here from Tommy. All right, Tommy, that's not a message for me. Okay, that's also not a message for me. Let's go up. Sandra, this topic is relative. To remarry from both parties sometime is counterproductive. My own experience from my dad after the death of my mom is not funny up until now. So many internal crises, honestly. Thanks, Uche from Wigondo. Uche, thanks for sending your message in. But here's the thing, right? Now, we're not having a conversation about whether the men end up marrying terrible women or the women end up marrying terrible men. Human beings can be terrible, and that's that on that. And even your own father gone serve or your own mother serve can be a terrible person, right? Sometimes serve, your mother dies and your father marries somebody else, and the person that your father marries is a better mother than your mother was. Or your father dies and your mother marries somebody else, and that man she marries is a better father than your biological father was. Human beings are human beings, period. That's not the conversation we're having. The conversation we're having is whether the remarriage should even happen. Whether or not they remarry a wicked, horrible person is a different conversation. But should they remarry? That's the conversation. And if you're uncomfortable with remarrying, should they date? Are they allowed to date? I was reading this book about this 70-year-old woman who was dating a 72-year-old man, and both of them met in a nursing home where their children left them because their children couldn't take care of them anymore, couldn't provide companionship. And these two old people found love in a nursing home, and they kept each other company. They talked about their children. They talked about, all kinds of happy things. Now, they did not remarry, but, they were dating. Because think about it. You myself will be a young person. You know how lonely it gets when you've been single for a long time. Why do you think it changes once the woman or the man has children? Why do you think that changes? Now, like I said, we're going to continue this conversation on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Join me here, why don't you, on the glass ceiling. But I'll be back on your air tomorrow at 3 p.m. Let's have a great conversation, shall we? We're going to talk about WAEC. There's a debate raging about whether or not WAEC should hold. And we'll have that conversation tomorrow at 5 after we bring you Community Report, after we've brought you the big three. I am Sandra Ezekwesili on all of my social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Sandra Ezekwesili. Find me, talk to me. I love to talk. Those were your hard facts, Lagos. Good night.
Information at its peak. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm listening.